Welcome to the Direct Line, the official podcast for OADSP. We're excited to have you here with us today, and if you have comments, suggestions, or if you want to join us in studio as a guest, reach out to me at podcast@oadsp.org.
I'm David Rustio, and today we are speaking with Scott Marks. Welcome to the show, Scott.
Hey, Dave. Thank you for having me.
It's nice to have you here. So do us a favor. Not everybody knows you, so tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, my name is Scott Marks. I was born in Yonkers, New York, some 41 years ago. But I've been here. I've lived in Ohio for the better part of the last 15 years. I have a wife named Sarah and a 10-year-old son named Oscar. We live in Granville, Ohio, home of Denison University. I think most people do know me. I think this is a self-proclaimed title, but I would call myself Ohio DD Association System's biggest Swiftie. I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan. I am also a big Star Wars fan, and
Okay.
I like, for some reason, like those two things, being a Taylor Swift fan and a Star Wars fan. I feel like sometimes that's all you need to know, and that's kind of like, I feel like every lesson I've learned through life is either learned through a Star Wars movie or a Taylor Swift lyric, basically.
Okay, so are some of them based on you?
Or some of Taylor Swift's songs? Yeah. I would not say that, but in the song Wildest Dreams, there is a line where she says, "He's so tall and handsome as hell." And I could say that at least half of that line kind of applies to me.
You are tall and handsome. So.
Oh, well, I appreciate that, but I would not ascribe the second half. But I do know from now on, like, Taylor likes tall guys, and that's good to know.
Good, good for her.
Yeah.
Now, is it hard to be a Swiftie?
What a question that is. Well, I would say currently, Taylor's presence in all of our lives is bigger than it's ever been, right? So sure. I do think in some ways, I kind of like to have ownership over my Swiftiedom sometimes,
okay.
A little bit. Okay. So the one thing I am struggling with a little bit recently, and this is a weird thing to say as a fan of the most popular singer in the world,
sure.
that I'm like, she's almost getting too popular, even though I'm like, how can I say such a thing? Right. But I wouldn't say no. I love being a Swiftie. I'm proud of being a Swiftie. And I think being a Taylor Swift fan is the most rewarding fandom you could be a part of. Like, think of any sports team that anybody has been a part of. Most times they lose, or this year they're good, this year they're bad. They trade away their good players. Sometimes they have good. It's a constant heartbreak. Being a fan of Taylor Swift is never a heartbreak. She always gets better. She never disappoints. There's nothing that she's put out that is ever like, oh, what is that? Maybe next time she'll do okay. Everything is always better than the last. There's never a disappointment. Yeah.
Yet.
No, don't say these things. So the only thing that I would say that is tough is that I do think, since most people know that I am a Swiftie, I am very often confronted with questions about Taylor Swift, like, do I approve of her new relationship, things of that nature, which, again, are not difficult.
That's with a football player, right?
Yes, exactly. So I just have to be prepared for those things. But I'm like you're saying, I am not a football guy really at all. So I'm definitely one of those, like, oh, yeah, I am interested in the NFL now that Taylor Swift is interested in it too. So I'm one of those, so completely.
So now you'll watch?
I mean, I may have watched the Chiefs game or so the last couple of weeks, but yeah, we'll see.
Great. So besides being a Swiftie and a family man, I'm not sure which one carries more weight at the moment.
That's an interesting question.
But what do you do for a living?
Oh, what I do for a living? I am the vice president for the Ohio Provider Resource Association, otherwise known as OPRA.
Mm-hmm. You sing?
I do. So not for a living. I am also, do I even want to say semi-professional, almost semi-professional musician as well. And I sometimes play Taylor Swift songs. Okay. But for an actual living, I'm the vice president here at Opera. That, any money I make off of playing music, I reinvest back into kazoos, which I often give out to the audiences when I'm performing music. So I can't say it's a living.
Okay,
but,
so it's not the opera singing.
No. I mean, so with one thing I will say about the intersection of opera and my musicianship is that since I've been at opera, we've always said 1 year we're going to put together an opera all-star band.
Okay.
Because there is actually a lot of musical talent in the opera community between singers, musicians, people that do all kinds of stuff. But this is one of those ideas that I've always said I wanted to do, but now I've been here almost 5 years and hasn't happened yet. Well, next year is opera's 50th anniversary.
Okay.
So if there was ever a time to put together the opera all-star band, next year is going to be it.
I think you should, and I'll buy the first ticket, especially if it's free at the opera conference.
It will be. Yeah, you can buy the first drink ticket, and it'll be okay. Yeah.
So, what do you do here?
I shouldn't say that's a great question because that implies I have to think about it too much. I do like to think and say that I kind of do a bit of everything. I feel. About opera, I think the one thing we always say that we provide to our membership, we call it CARE, C-A-R-E, which is community, advocacy, resources, and experiences. And I like to think I play a part in all four of those things. Okay. I think the community part being first is, it's really important to us that the opera and the opera membership, that it's more than just, a bunch of different providers spread out across the state that are a part of this organization. That is really a full, community of people who support each other, who are there for each other, provide resources to each other, brainstorm, problem solve, all of that. And, so much of what I try to do and what I hope we try to do is just create opportunities for that to happen. So whether it's organizing our Friday calls, trying to make sure that all the information and news is out there that people need, so then you all can discuss and kind of figure out what it means. I kind of think between all those different pieces, the resources, I'm kind of the lead for developing our newsletter and the information that goes out. And then at the end of the day, I think of myself on top of kind of all things professionally as an advocate. For better or worse, I am someone who likes arguing with people. I am someone who's not afraid of confrontation. And I am someone who, enjoys fighting for things that I care about. And so I do think, like I said, I feel like I hopefully play a part in all four of those sort of pillars of what opera does. But most importantly is I think of myself as an advocate and think of myself hopefully as someone who the members think of as always fighting for them every day.
Right.
So.
And who are these members that you talk about, opera members?
All right. So opera represents and works on behalf of about 180 disability service provider agencies across the state of Ohio. So, and something again that we're very proud of is that our members and the services they provide really run the full spectrum of supports for people. We have obviously members who are providing, very intensive at-home services all the way to supporting people working in the community. And again, I just think it's a point of pride just for Ohio's service system, but definitely for opera and the members that we represent that, we are meeting the needs of so many people across the state, and those needs are so varied. And again, it is just something in the sort of day-to-day of our work, which sometimes can just be, fighting with state bureaucrats or whatever. It's kind of bringing it back to, no, these are awesome services provided by awesome people every day. And again, the scope of services that we have and that our members provide in the state really is something special. And when I work with other states and talk to other states, I'm always reminded of, wow, we really have a system of supports and a provider field that does so much for so many people.
Okay, so if I work for a provider who's an opera member, am I an opera member?
Yes, I believe so. Definitely. Again, I mean, what it is, it's like we like to say, it's the opera community. I feel like obviously agencies are the ones that sort of buy into their membership, but anybody that is a part of an agency can get on the listserv, be part of a committee, be involved in really, I think any way that you would want to. And again, I think that is. So it's funny, we talked about, the the scope of services that are provided. But then I think about what we, do as advocacy or we need to learn from our members in order to be able to advocate. And then so thinking about the range of expertise among the membership and the different roles that people play within there, and knowing if we have a nursing question that we know we have, awesome nurses out there that can speak to that. If we have an HR question, we have a committee and folks that are part of that. So I'm not sure if that's the question you asked or not, but yeah, my long answer is everything I just said. Short answer is yes. Yeah.
Sure. So, in a sense, if I work for an opera affiliated employer, you're advocating for me.
Yeah, I mean that is what we're here to do, and exactly to that point, that is why we do try to engage in so many different parts of what providers do and understand all those different aspects. Like you said, whether it's HR, whether it's different specific service fields, whether it's a healthcare component. We are advocating for really any issue or any need of our members that comes up. And obviously, our big, not to brag on ourselves too much, but obviously our big kind of feat of the year was working with our members to advocate for pretty historic rate increases for the services that our members provide. So, again, we feel that, hopefully that advocacy impacts and helps every part of an organization, to all the folks that work there, to all the people and families that those agencies are supporting.
So if the rates go up, what does that mean for me as a DSP?
Well, it could mean a whole bunch of things, but hopefully it means your wages go up too. But, as I get into how I answer that's certainly complicated. But yeah, the entire point of that rate increase, and again, what we were able to, with our members advocating with our state legislature, is what will eventually be a 38% increase on the service rates that for the services that provider agencies provide. And so, yeah, the intent of that rate increase is to be able to go towards the direct support professionals and other staff that are engaged in all of the activities of supporting people for a provider. Again, that, I think the complicated thing for us and for those provider agencies out there is every single provider is a different business doing things a different way, has already maybe implemented different wage increases in the past, maybe implemented different bonus programs. And so it's not quite as straightforward as me saying, hey, 38% increase, everyone gets a 38% raise, because depending on what your agency has already done, where you're already at wage-wise, what kind of experience, credentialing you may have, all of those things kind of fly into the mix. Again, I feel like that's a long answer, but short answer is yes, the purpose of the rate increase is to raise the wages for direct support professionals and other provider staff, really for a couple of reasons. I mean, mostly one is just to be able to compete and be in an industry with other employers that are able to modify their prices or do other things in order to increase their wages where we aren't. Where we are not able to do that is our wages rates are all set by our legislature through Medicaid. But also that, even taking out the competition factor of it, just being able to fairly compensate people for the incredible work that they do every day. I could forget about whatever any other industry is paying and still say this work deserves to have a compensation that is meaningful, that is livable, that is sustainable. So I think, you tie those things together and it really gets to, this was such a necessary thing to happen. And what we are just so lucky about and grateful for is that we had partners in the legislature and our county boards and the department that all saw this as a need too. Right. And obviously, we're in Ohio. This is not, I want to say this politically and diplomatically, getting rate increases for government funded services is never something that is
it's not easy.
A given. Yeah, exactly. So again, but But it's important to me as I talk about this and the rate increases that the reason we were successful is not our advocacy that Opera did. It was being able to connect our members, the people they support, the families they support, to their legislators, to their decision makers. And, again, going back to the budget season when we were sitting in committees, sitting in hearings, the number of legislators that when they were asking a question or making a comment would say something like, "Oh, I've been out to Blue Moon. I see the great work that they've done." And then they would launch into their question. And what a difference that is between, like I always call us people from Columbus, just trying to make the point over and over again.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought up Blue Moon. I'm wearing their fancy little T-shirt.
Yep.
That is a day program in the Bucyrus area. So, or going to be. They're going to open next year.
All right. I'm very excited.
I am too. And I got a T-shirt.
It's a sweet shirt. Where can I get one?
I can get you one.
All right, awesome.
So, tell us, our audience, of course, runs the spectrum.
Sure.
But a lot of our audience are DSPs because OADSP, that we advocate as well for this group of people. What message do you have for the DSPs listening?
I mean, I guess my first and foremost message is thank you for the work that you do every day. And especially, going back to everything that we've talked about, we know that this is not a job that necessarily pays the most, that is necessarily has the easiest hours in the world, that is necessarily the easiest by any means in the day-to-day perspective. So, I mean, my first message is just one of gratitude and a hope that with this budget and with the investment, with the partnership with the legislature and our system partners, that we can finally really actually do more than just say thank you. We can show thank you with the resources, the reimbursement, the everything there. So yeah, my first message is definitely just one of thank you and gratitude. And I really hope, if I know it's a tough job, and my hope is that maybe we are through some of the darkest of our days, and that, a phrase that's kind of always ascribed to me, I guess I say this a lot, is cautiously optimistic.
Okay.
But that is, again, so I think the future, I don't want to sit here and sound like a Pollyanna and say the world is going to be wonderful, everything's going to be great, and your job is going to be easy now that we got this budget passed, because that's certainly not the case. But again, yeah, my hope is that we can finally, that this system can finally say thank you in a way that's more meaningful than just our words.
All right. And I know you can't give us Taylor Swift tickets, right? Or can you?
I can't give you real ones. I can drop some. Yeah.
You can drop them.
Yeah.
But people that are interested might be able to get an opera mug, right? A coffee mug.
Certainly an opera mug, handcrafted, hand-thrown, only 17,000 left in that supply closet right over there. Also, I think we have a few backpacks left over from the last conference. So if you want a mug, a backpack, I can get you.
Okay. How would you hook them up? How do they need to contact you if they really are interested?
All right. Well, yeah, you can reach out to me directly. I'm at smarks, or as my boss Pete Moore calls me every day, smarks at opera.org. So that's SMARKS at opera.org. And yeah, I will be very honest here. Okay. So I can only maybe make this offer to the first 7 listeners that respond to this.
All right.
But the first 7 listeners to this podcast that email me directly for either a bag or a mug will get one. I promise that.
Perfect. Thank you, Scott. And thank you for being here with us today.
Oh, thank you. This was a lot of fun.
I appreciate your time. Have a great day.
Thank you. You as well.
Thanks for listening, and join us next time on The Direct Line.